Well, hello, friends. Dr. Scott Martin here. I want to talk to you about something that's been on my heart for a while, and it's simply this. What does it mean to become more human in the digital age? I've written about this. I've talked about this a lot. In fact, one of my most popular and controversial newsletter articles that I pushed out was saying schools have 36 months to make it until everything we know is upended by AI. And I know we're all talking about AI and what it's going to do to jobs and what it's going to do to careers and what it's going to do to industries. And those are all important conversations. But to me, the conversation that I really want to dial into is what is AI going to do to our sense of humanity and connection? What does it do to our sense of selves? What happens to us on the inside when the world automates? Not to our workflows, but to our sense of our own humanity. And I believe that's the question to ask as a human being, but also as an educator and as a school leader. And I believe when we think about what the future is going to hold, and it may be 36 weeks, it may be 36 months, it may be 36 years, I don't know. But I think it's going to come down to three critical key things: purpose, connection, and meaning. So I want to unpack those for us. Number one, I am convinced in an automated age, human purpose is going to be at a premium. And I'm talking about not just being employed, but I'm talking about the deep need to be called into something that I would say is mission driven. That deep sense in your heart that this is what I'm put on the earth here to do. What some traditions might call a calling. Not just something that you do to make money, because I think that's going to get upended pretty quick. But to say, this is what I was made for. There's this great author, Viktor Frankl, who went through the horrific tragedy of losing his entire family in the concentration camp of Auschwitz. And he's got this really, really beautiful book where he talks about the will to meaning. And what he simply says is this, that even in a situation like Auschwitz where everything is taken from you, your personal meaning is the thing that gives your life a deep sense of vitality. And so when I think about what it means to pursue meaning, what we know in research is that those people who have a strong sense of purpose have healthier lives. They have lower mortality risk across all age groups. When we find that the work we do has purpose, we see that our lives are healthier, our lives are better shaped for the things that do give us really rich meaning in life. Barry Schwartz writes this great book, Why We Work, and he says that the work we do is not just how we earn money, it's literally how we become. So reclaiming our deep sense of purpose, especially in an automated age, is critical as we navigate the uncertain waters of an era that I think is really going to upend so many of our most basic tasks. Finding value in who we are and the work we do is an urgent calling we must heed. One writer says it this way: work is about a search for daily meaning as well as daily bread. It is a sort of life that brings life itself. Number two, human connection. This is the hunger to be seen and not just acknowledged. William James says it this way: the deepest principle in human nature is the craving to be appreciated. Not success, not attainment, not fame, but the craving to be appreciated. Dale Carnegie said it this way: there's nothing that we desire more than to know that we matter. I talk with educators and school leaders all across the world. These are extraordinary people. These are talented, driven, compassionate, selfless human beings who have given themselves to work that really matters. And when I get down to it and we talk about the real and the raw, they tell me the same thing over and over again. I often feel so alone in this work. One prominent school leader said it to me this way, in this really vulnerable moment: you were the first person to make me feel seen in a very long time. See, here's the thing, friends. We are facing a crisis of isolation and loneliness. Books have been written about this. Studies have been done about this. One study says that the loneliness crisis we're facing carries a mortality risk comparable to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. I think in an automated era, that sense of human connection, that sense of community, the common unity we have, where we are known and we are valued and we are seen for who we are is going to be the coin of the realm. I am convinced in an automated era, when it is easier and easier to disappear behind screens, the hunger to be genuinely known by another human being is not going to diminish. It is going to expand exponentially. And then the third thing I would say is meaning making, how we find meaning in the midst of all of this. It is that deep existential question that we have been asking for millennia. What does my life mean? Researchers say that we don't just experience life as a consequence of data input, but that we experience life as a story. We organize events into arcs. We look for causes and consequences. We insist that the chaos of our experiences has a shape. And this narrative reasoning is the mode in which we create the architecture of our lives, which means we don't just live and then tell stories about our lives. We literally live inside the stories themselves. Having these stories and the meaning that comes with trying to give coherence to that. That is not just a philosophical exercise, it is a survival skill. It is what makes us human at the bottom of it all. So as we think about that question of, in a world that is becoming increasingly more automated, how do I become increasingly more human? I ask these questions. Are we living from purpose or just reacting to noise? Are we choosing connection or letting efficiency quietly erode the most important thing that we crave and need? Are we making meaning, or are we letting circumstances just guide us? See, I am convinced that the difference maker in the automated era will not be the person with the best tools. It will be the person who stayed irreplaceably, unapologetically, fully human. If that resonates with you, especially if you're a school leader, you would love the Flourishing School Leader cohort that we have once a month. We gather together. This is a group of thoughtful, kind, energetic, inspiring, driven school leaders, and we spend an hour online together in community. We have leaders from all over the world who come and share their hearts, their vulnerability, their hopes, their dreams. It is a fully authentic human community, and I know you would love that. And then I also do one-on-one coaching where I do a 90-minute deep dive with you once a month on the things that you're planning, you're strategizing, you're hoping for, your dreams and vision, your challenges and needs. I go over all of that with you. I am a sounding board, an encourager, a champion, a cheerleader, somebody who you can lean into, who gives some thoughts to the things that you're dealing with. So, my friends, blessings on the journey. May you continue to pursue that deepest sense of flourishing in your own humanity. Blessings on you.